5.1. Is so for this one, Sutra 164, it says Krishna Nasena. Then after Krishna, Nasi is replaced by R. So line number 64. So and then get Sutra. Which Sutra shall we apply here?
दशावतारेकात्मके मिलित्वा त्रिविक्रम.
So it becomes Krishna. Krishna Paratattvam. What is that? Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Paratattvam. So it's name like 4.2. Copy paste. 5.3. Krishna. Yes. So copy paste same. Then 6.1. Krishna. This is nice. So for this one, we have a new sutra. Krishna Nasasya. After the Krishna, Nas is replaced by Sya. 165. So 965. Nas is replaced by Sya. So it becomes, then we combine Krishna Sya. Then 6.2. Krishna Os. So for this one, Krishna Sya AOC 166. The final A of Krishna becomes A when Os follows. So when Os follows, this A becomes A. So Krishna and Os. So then which sutra will be like? Any guess?
AI.
Yes. And then we combine them. And now which sutra?
Krishna Yo.
Which sutra?
155.
Radharamya. Then
Prabhu, how it Krishna A become A E? Yeah, please.
this is sutra 166. Sorry, I didn't mention it. This one. Krishna se AOC. The final of Krishna becomes A when Os follows. So by this sutra. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
And then AI 63 is applied and we get Krishna. Then we have Krishna and this is not Krishna Vamana Gopi Radhabro Nodami. Which means the Agama note is inserted after a Vamana, Gopi or Radha when Am follows. So this is Am, and Nut is inserted in between, and the Purva Nimitta can be either a Vamana, short vowel, or a Gopi or Radha. We'll get to know what is this Gopi and what is this Radha. But for here, we know what is Vamana. So in this case, A is a Vamana, short A, and Am is there. So A is Purva Nimitta and Am is Paranimitta. So we insert Nut. So Vamana Gopi Radha Nami 167. So we insert Nut and Am. And so
Prabhu, what is a Gopi or Radha here?
yeah, I told that this is actually we'll study in the next section of this chapter, which is the Sri Lakshmi Ling section. So Gopi is basically the long, like for example, is the short is we said Krishna word. Like yesterday we studied that sutra. What was that sutra? Krishna Sankhya. Yeah, Aramanta Krishna Sankhya. That any nama ending in Arama is called Krishna. So similarly, any nama ending with the long E is Gopi Sankhya. And any nama ending with the long A is Radha Sankhya. Okay? Rosie, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So Krishna, Nut and Am. So now actually we did a lot of sutras. Okay. So after we studied this sutra, Vamana Gopi Radha Nodami, then there is one more sutra. So we leave it here for now. It is not completed. One more sutra will be coming up. Tatra Tekmito Sarvatragmo Shnamam Vina Udanta Kitcha. Okay, we'll skip this sutra. Not that important. This is important. Vamanasya Trivikro Nami Nri Shabdasya Puva Na Tisri Chatasro. A Vamana becomes Trivikrama when Nam follows. So in this case, first of all, we combine this Na and Am. This Ut will go away because it's an indicatory letter. So it becomes Nam. So Vamanasya Trivikrama Nami. When Nam follows, Nami is 7th case. And 7th case is Paranimitta. So when Nam follows. So and Vamana is Vamana. So this Vamana becomes Trivikrama by Sutra 167. So it becomes Krishna Nam. Then the rest of the sutra says Nri Shabdasya Puva Na Tisri Chatasro. But the Nri of Nri only optionally becomes Trivikrama when Nam follows. Like in future we'll be having a word like Nri from which Nara becomes. So there when Nam will follow in 6.3. So in that case, it will optionally become this Nri being a Vamana will optionally become Trivikrama. And optionally it will remain same. So one time it will be simply Nrinam, and one time it will be Nam. Like, so this is Dri Shabda Satyava. And Na Tisri Chatasro, the third part of this sutra is when Tisri or Chatasri words will follow, means will be there followed by Nam. Then the Vamana of Chatasri or Tisri will not be converted into Trivikrama in 6.3 cases. So they will simply be like Tisri, Nam, and Chatasri, Nam. Was it clear? Was it clear? The meaning of the sutra?
Yes, Prabhu.
Means we'll be covering these words also in the future. But for here, just this will be converted into Trivikrama.
Becomes Krishna Nam, like that. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Guruji. Now it's better.
It's better than before now.
Yeah, I changed. I upgraded my earphone. Yes. Okay. So
प्रभु जी एक बार रिपीट कर दीजिए लास्ट वाला क्योंकि आपकी आवाज साफ नहीं थी ना तो ज्यादा क्लियर नहीं है
so you were tolerating me since these many days.
आपका क्वेश्चन भी साफ नहीं था प्रभु इसमें.
Okay. So actually, we are studying this sutra, Vamanasya Trivikramo Nami, Indriya Shabdasya Tuva, Na Tisri Chatasro. It simply means when Nam follows, so the Vamana letter becomes Trivikrama. So in this case, it becomes Trivikrama, Krishna Nam. But when the word Nri is followed by Nam, so the short optionally becomes Trivikrama. So one time it will be Nrinam with a short Ri, and one time it will be Nrinam with a long Ri in 6.3. And when we'll be dealing with the two words Tisri and Chatasri, followed by Nam in 6.3. So they, although the Ri there also is Vamana, but they will remain the same and they will not be converted into a Trivikrama. That's only that much. Clear?
So that means Prabhu these two sutras, next one means they are for re-ending words. Is it so?
Next two sutras means?
Means not next to sutra, the next two part of the same explanation.
Yes,
6.3.
Means the second part of this sutra is specially for this word.
Okay.
Not for all the re-ending.
Okay.
That's why they have given this Nri.
Because categorically, when they are explaining a ending, masculine a ending, they are not taking up any other ending. And as an exception, and the re-ending came, so I got
No. Means I got the thing which you are understanding.
Yeah.
Means the word Nri doesn't represent all the re-ending words.
Okay.
And the Chatisri and Chatasri doesn't represent all the re-ending words again.
Mm-hmm.
So it only refers to the Nri word in particular and Tisri and Chatasri in particular. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like we had Rupa Rathantara Ratri, like something like that.
Yes. Like that. Okay. Okay. So Krishna Nam. Then 7.1. Krishna Swaujo Ni. This is simple actually. No new sutra here. Okay, which sutra will be applied?
Advayam idvay a.
Yes. Krishna. Krishna Matirastu. Like Mahaprabhu would say. Okay, then Krishna Os. So we repeat the same like this, Krishna Os. So we apply Krishnasya A O C. So it becomes A. Then A I. Then Sararamyo Vishnu Sargo Vishnu Padante. So we copy and paste. It's done. 7.3 Krishna. Then we have Sup. So here Krishnasya A Vaishnave Bahutve. We studied that sutra. 163. Krishnasya A Vaishnave Bahutve, which means when a Vaishnava follows, then A becomes A. So Krishne Su, we combine them. Now there is one sutra. Wow. Ishvara Harimitra Kamyabhya Pratyavirinci Susyashu Num Vishnu Sarga Vyavadhane Api Na to Vishnu Padadyanta Tatinam. Don't be scared, please.
These are for people till Dwapar Yoga, not for Kali Yoga, I think. To remember.
But because this sutra is very much in use, so just by applying 4 or 5 times, you will memorize them. So after an Ishvara, Harimitra, Ka or Na, so Ishvara, these are all the Purva Nimitta. Okay, let's put it here. These are all Purva Nimitta. Then the sa of Pratyaya or Vrinchi. And then this is the Karyi, the place where the Karya happens, Karya Sthan. Then this is the case even when Num or Vishnu Sarga intervenes. So this is Purva Nimitta and this is the Karya Sthan, but sometimes it may happen that we may have a Vishnu Sarga here in between or Num. So in this case, what happens is this sa gets converted into sha, this one, the cerebral sha. So when the Purva Nimitta is either Ishvara, Harimitra, Ka or Nga, the letter Nga, and if there is any Vishnu Sarga or Num in between, intervening, it can be or it cannot be. So the sa will be converted into the cerebral sha. So in this case, and one more thing is, but sa, which is situated at the beginning or at the end of a Vishnupada, does not become sha. So if this sa is converted at the last, like here or like here, so it doesn't get converted. It has to be somewhere in the middle of a Vishnupada, of a proper word. So Krishnesu has become a proper word and sa is in the middle and it is preceded by an Ishvara. This A is an Ishvara, right? What is the definition of Ishvara, by the way?
Ishvara is Dashavtar minus Advaya.
Avarjita Sarveshvara Ishvara.
Ha, Sarveshvara.
Avarjita Sarveshvara Ishvara. So all the Sarveshwaras minus Advaya is Ishvara. So A is an Ishvara. And after A, there is no Vishnu Sarga or Num, no problem. So this is optional. It can be or it cannot be. And then Sa follows. So this Sa gets converted into, by 170 Sutra, Krishneshu, like that. Yes, Krishneshu. Then 8.1. This sutra will come by practice. Please don't worry. Then the last three, Krishna and again Su. So here, this eighth case is known as Sambodhana, vocative. This one, Sambodhana, or the vocative. Sambodhane Sur Buddha Sanghya. This is a Sanghya Sutra. In Sambodhana, Su is called Buddha. Just remember this. In Sambodhana, 8.1 is Sambodhana. This Su is called Buddha. Because in 1.1 also, we use Su. So by mentioning this as Buddha, we differentiate it from the 1.1 Su. Eo Vamanebhyo Buddhasya Darshanam. Buddha disappears after A, O or Vamana. Buddha disappears after A, O or Vamana. So when we apply Sutra 172, this one, so this Buddha disappears, is getting deleted. And because this is a Vamana, it says the Purva Nimitta can either be the letter A or the letter O or any of the Vamanas. So in this case, it is a Vamana A, so this gets deleted. So it becomes Krishna. Hey Krishna, actually. This is not He Krishna. This is Hey Krishna. It's a Sambodhana. Okay? Clear? Hope
Yes,
so.
Prabhu.
Yeah, today one more thing I was just wondering about few words. Like in Sanskrit, the snake is known as,
Sarpa.
and in English, what is the word for sarpa? Which matches to this one? Any guess?
Serpent.
Yeah. I was just wondering. The English people, they are so clever. They changed the into E and that's all. And added this ENT. Ear, nose and throat. Anyway, so very close actually, Sarpa and Serpent. Even this one, the road in English, in Sanskrit is known as Patha. And in English, the close word is?
Path.
Yes, path. So like that, very close actually. Anyhow, just 1 minute, please. Resume recording. Okay, Prabhu. Very good. Then it becomes Krishna. Simple. And 8.3 is same as 1.3. So I'll just So Dashavatare Militva Trivikramaha Krishnas, and then 155 Sararame Vishnu Sarga Vishnu Vedante, and we get Krishna. That's all. We are done. Hari Bol. Krishna word.
Hari Bol.
So we started from Sutra 155 till 172, which means how many sutras? Almost 18 sutras, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, only 18 sutras for only one word. So
So I think
pratyas are 21, but the sutras are 18, so it's still less. Okay, so anyhow.
so I think we will have exam for every word.
Was that a joke?
That was concern.
I think a heavy concern. Just one more minute. Let me just charge my phone. Yeah, so let's see about the test and all. Means I'm not worried about any test because I don't have to give it. I have to take. Okay, so we will not go further with the grammar. So please try to memorize the sutras. I will share this file with you and try to memorize the sutras. And tomorrow what we will do is we will not move ahead to the next word. We will do some more ending words. For example, we'll take words like Rama or Madhava and something. And but the difference will be that I'll just write some like Rama and Vibhakti like O's. Then I'll ask individually to you to answer one by one by applying sutras. So please revise, memorize, do anything, but we must be knowing how to solve these things. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So then we'll move ahead to Bhakti Ras Samrita Sindhu. Okay. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadanti. So yesterday we had covered till here, I think, Padapitaha. And this verse indicated was the reference for the second reason for why Shri Krishna is supreme, or for why the word Vidhu is mentioned in reference to Krishna. So now the third point is Parama Apurva Swaprema Mahasukha Paryanta Sukha Vistarakattvena. That Shri Krishna is the one who offers all happiness, all sukha, including the happiness which arises from loving him or from Krishna Prema, which is the topmost. So the references for that one is from here. Yasyananam Makara Kundala Charu Karna Bhrajat Kapola Subhagam Suvilasa Hasam Nityotsavam Tatripuhu Drigbhi Pibantyah Nariyah Na Aryah or Nariyah Narah Cha Muditaha Kupitaha Nimeh Cha. So this is a famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It means Yasya Ananam. What is Ananam?
Mukh Mandal, Sri Mukh.
Yeah, Shri Mukh face. whose face, yasya is whose face, bhrajat, shines with a kundala, earrings, which resemble a makara. Makara means a fish hair, not a crocodile. Charu karna, and the karna, the ears are charu. They are also very beautiful. Kapol subhagam, his cheeks. Kapol is subhaga. What is subhaga? Subhaga. So subhaga means charming, pleasing, pretty, beautiful, nice, and so on. Even slender, thin. He's not a fatty guy. Krishna is not fat. Thin, slender, delicate. So all the meanings can fit in there. So his cheeks are beautiful, very delicate, and so on. Suvilas hasam. One more thing about this particular word here, like the kapol, the cheeks on both of the sides, they are subhaga. They are, in some of the scriptures, Krishna's cheeks are even compared to a mirror. You know, like it's like a mirror. You know, you can see your reflection in that mirror-like cheeks, and that's why in the scriptures the cheeks are compared to like an ocean. So one acharya I was reading, he was connecting this Makara Kundala and Kapola Subhagam, that when Krishna runs or when Krishna walks or he plays, so what happens is, it appears that when he plays or runs, what happens that his Makara Kundala, they start moving, you know, वो हिलने डुलने लगते हैं उनके कुंडल, and it appears कि जब उन कुंडलों की जो छाया भगवान के कपोल पर पड़ती है, so it appears that the fishes, they are swimming in an ocean or in a lake. So very wonderful, like analogy the acharyas they gave. Suvilas hasam, that his hasam, his smile is suvilasa. Okay, what is suvilasa? So vilasa means shining forth, grace, charm, beauty. Again, the same meaning, beautiful, charming, very beautiful smile. We will study ahead in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that the smiles are of 6 kinds. Even the smiles, they are of 6 kinds. Like when I read that, I was like, wow, such a great detail. So the number 1 smile is Smita Hasyam, then number 2 is Hasita Hasyam, and so on. So Krishna, because he's number 1, so he smiles in the number 1 fashion, which is Smita Hasya. So in that Smita Hasya, what happens is, one does not show his teeth, and he smiles very gently. So Krishna is like that. He doesn't show his teeth normally, and he smiles in that number 1 fashion. Nitya Utsavam. And Krishna's beauty, Krishna's Ananam, the beauty of his face is like an Utsava, a festival, a constant festival actually. Generally festivals, when we say festivals, so one, what can be said? Like when we hear like Janmashtami is coming or something, some festival is coming up, so there is pleasure in our heart, but there is also one displeasure in our heart that festivals, they are not like Nitya. Like Janmashtami, it is for 1 day in an year. Ram Navami, 1 day. But here it says Nitya, that the beauty of Krishna's Anana It's not anitya, it's not one day utsav, it's not saptahik utsav, or it's not masik utsav. It's annual utsav, you know, it just goes on day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. So it's nitya utsavam. And drigbhihi pibantyah, the naraha and naryaha, the man and the woman of Braja, of course, they literally drink pibantyah. They drink by their eyes. They drink by their eyes the beauty of Krishna's face, which is like Nitya Utsavam, and they drink to their fullest, but that fullest becomes emptied instantly, and that's why na tripuhu. They are not satisfied at any point of time. It's like Bhima is known as, what is that, voracious eater?
Vrikodara.
Vrikodara, right. So Acharya mentions that Vrikodara means that there is an Agni which is named Vrika, which is situated in Bhima's stomach. So what that Agni does is that as soon as a food is swallowed inside, so that Agni immediately digests everything, and immediately the stomach becomes empty. So similarly, the Nari and the Nara, they drink the beauty of Krishna to their heart's content, but instantly and immediately the heart's content is nullified, and again they become thirsty of drinking more, and so likewise they drink more, they become full, and instantly they get empty. So again and again they drink, and at last na tatripuhu, they are not satisfied. And but still, like in material world, dissatisfaction leads to misery, but here this dissatisfaction leads to muditaha. They all become happy even if they are dissatisfied, but still they are somewhat angry, kupita. Upon whom? Upon Nimehe, upon Brahmaji, who constructed these eyebrows, Nimeh. Like that. This is an example of the prema which Krishna distributes, the sukha which Krishna distributes through his beauty, his personal beauty. Okay. Anyone wants to speak anything on this verse? Means this is very elaborate verse actually.
Subhag ka meaning kya hai Prabhuji? Subhagam?
Subhagam, see, generally bhaga means an opulence, you know, Bhagavan. But here Subhaga is charming, beautiful, like that. Actually, Suvilasa, Subhaga, Charu, they are all like synonyms, adjectives or synonyms, we can say.
Okay. And this words, na tatrapu, ये words कहाँ से शुरू है? ना अलग है?
ना अलग है?
हाँ.
तत्रिपुहु एक वर्ब है.
तत्रिपुहु, okay. तत्रिपुहु.
तत्रिपु जैसे हम बोलते हैं
तृप्त होना. Okay. Yes, please.
Tripti. So tripti, the root is trip. So we add ti and it becomes tripti, like that. So tatripuhu means to be satisfied, and na tatripuhu means not to be satisfied, like that.
Okay, yes, please.
Anyone wants to ask or say something on this verse? You can, means everyone wants to like hear about Krishna. Okay, the next verse also, it describes the third reference, the third part, that Sukha part. Ka stri anga te kalapad amrit venu geet sammohita arya charitat na chalet trilokyam trailokya saubhagam idam chaniriksha rupam yad go, dvija, druma, mrigaha, pulakani abibhran. This is also one of the references for this third point. It says, Hey Anga. Anga here refers to Hey Krishna. This is from 10th canto. Hey Krishna, ka stri. Who is that woman who na chalet trilokyam? In the three worlds, in trilokyam, in the three worlds, who is that woman who is not bewildered, na chalet, from her chastity, Arya Charitat, who is not bewildered from her chastity upon hearing the Gita, the song, the music which is arising from your flute. And that music is like Amrita, the Kala Pada Amrita, which means Pada means the notes. You know, in music you have notes. Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni. Pancham swar, this swar, that swar. So Pada means notes. So, and Kala means the sweet sounding notes. So Kala Pada means sweet sounding notes. So who is that woman, Kastri, in the three worlds, who will not be bewildered from, or who will not be chalet, shaken from her chastity upon hearing your Venu, whose sweet sounding notes are like nectar. This is a literal transliteration. We can also read Prabhupada's translation upon this if he has given. Trailokya saubhagam idam cha niriksha rupam. That means, this line means that no one is an exception, means no woman in the world can be an exception who cannot be captivated by Krishna's beauty and plus Krishna's flute. This is the meaning. No one can, say that, oh, I'm not attracted. Every woman will be attracted to him and his music. And further, it is said, Trailokya saubhagam idam cha niriksha rupam, that even the cows, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, Dvija here can mean only Brahmana, and Dvija here can mean all the three vargas, Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya, even the trees and even the animals. So basically, both the animate and the inanimate, the movable and the immovable, Pulakani abibhran, their pulaka, their hairs stand on an end upon seeing the rupa, the form of Krishna, which is Trailokya Saubhagam, which is Trailokya Saubhagam, which is auspicious and which is very beautiful, gracious, lovely in the whole three worlds. So this is the meaning, that Krishna, he bestows happiness to everyone in such a way that no one can be an exception from taking that happiness. Everyone will be captivated by that happiness. So this was the second reference for the third point. Again, this is the third reference for the third point, that Sukha point. Anything for this verse? Anything to be said?
प्रभु जी, ये एक बार फिर से इसे कैसे रीड करेंगे? सम्मोहिता, इधर दो
ये
जी नहीं, सम्मोहित आर्य.
Okay. Sammohita Arya. ये इसको भूल मतलब मत देखिए, मतलब इसको हम छोड़ सकते हैं। सम्मोहित आर्य चरितात, ठीक है।
ठीक है।
ओके, तो ये तीसरा श्लोक भी जो है ये भी तीसरे पॉइंट को ही प्रतिपादित करता है, सब्सटेंशिएट। यन मर्त्य लीलोपयिकम स्वयोग माया बलम दर्शयता गृहीतम विस्मापनम स्वस्य च सौभगर्धेः परम पदम भूषण भूषणांगम। So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay.
थर्ड कैंटो का है ये शायद।
ये रहा, थर्ड कैंटो सेकंड चैप्टर वर्स 12. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency. Martya Leela Aupayikam. Martya means the mortal world. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. Swayogamaya Balam Darshayata. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. Yan Leela Upayikam, which means it is suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, Vismapanam, even for those proud of their own opulence. Swasya cha saubhaga riddhe. We say riddhi, samriddhi. From that riddhi becomes riddhe. So those who are even proud of their own opulence, they are are also astonished, wondered by Krishna's pastimes. Any example from any scripture where such a person is impressed by Krishna's feats, activities? Does anyone remember any example?
Brahma.
Okay, we can say that Brahmaji was like in that state, Saubhagardhe. He was quite proud of his opulence. Even Indra, we can say, he was quite proud. Yes, many instances. So like that, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha, that even Lord Vishnu is impressed by Lord Krishna's acts. Thus, Shri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments. So this is the meaning. This is also interesting actually, ornament of all ornaments. Like when ornaments are put up on Krishna's body, generally when we put on ornaments, we put on to beautify ourselves with the help of ornaments. But when Krishna puts on the ornaments, it is not that Krishna wants to look beautiful, so that, and that's why he put on the ornaments. Rather the ornaments look more beautiful in touch, in association with Krishna. So that's why his body is the ornament of all ornaments. That even the ornaments, when they are put up on Krishna's body, they become more beautiful by Krishna's lustre and by Krishna's sense of touch, when they come across like. So this was the third and the last reference for the third point, this one. Now the last point is Swayam Bhagavatvena. That Vidhu refers to Krishna because Krishna is Swayam Bhagwan. So the reference for this one is the famous verse. Ete changsha kalah pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam. Only this much. That this is a Bhagavatam verse, we all know this. That Ete Angsha Kalaha, that all the other incarnations are either Ansha or Kala. But Krishna tu Swayam Bhagwan. But Krishna is Swayam Bhagwan. So this is the reference for the fourth point. Then Jayati Jana Nivasaha Devaki Janmavadaha. So after that, the word Jayati came in the main verse, Vidhur Jayati. So Jiva Goswami is giving another such Jayati verse from Bhagavatam, that Jayati Jana Nivasaha Devaki Janmavadaha, which means one who is well known to have taken birth from Devaki. One who is well known to have taken birth from Devaki, from the womb of Devaki, and he is also, this Jananivasa can have two meanings. One meaning can be, does anyone want to guess or rather speculate? What does
Paramatma feature.
I'm sorry?
Paramatma feature, Jana Nivas.
Okay, this is actually the third meaning.
Living within the jana with the devotees, doing nivas means to live.
Yeah, Janeshu Nivasa.
So here Prabhuji, Janeshu, can it mean like his devotees? He's always with his devotees.
Means it can be or it cannot be. It can also mean, he's living in this world amongst other janas. So Janeshu Nivasa. And of course, he lives, whenever he comes to this world, so he lives amongst his devotees. That's for sure, obvious. So Janeshu Nivasa means he lives amongst his devotees. The third meaning is Jananam Nivasaha. He is the abode of all the residents. He is the abode for all the janas, which means everyone resides in him. Like in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the famous 2 verses which appear very difficult to be understood. What is that verse? The verse is Na cha matsthani bhutani pashyame yogam aishwaryam, that everything that is created rest in me. All beings are me. This is 9.4 from Bhagavad Gita. Matsthani sarva bhutani. So that Matsthani sarva bhutani is this, Jananam Nivasa. And even Narayana, the word Narayana means that Naranam Ayanah iti Narayana. The abode or the residence of all the living entities is known as Narayana. So in this way, Jananivasa can mean a couple of things. So he Jayati, such a Lord, be victorious, and such a Lord is endowed with many wonderful qualities like that. Okay? Any question here? Because we'll stop here. It's like almost the time.
Hare Krishna.
कुछ पूछना है? बोलना है?
ये Jana Nivas, so you give 2 meanings, Janeshu Nivas and Jananam.